I don't know. I was flabbergasted, I guess, you know, because honestly I didn't think nothing much of it. I thought it was just, you know, just going right through. And the officer seemed real nice and friendly. You know, he seemed like a cool guy. You know, then he ruined my, you know, he ruined my entire year and now a couple years of my life because of it. They found no drugs. They found nothing. They tried to say it was drug money. They went to my phone. They found no evidence of any kind of like drug, anything.
This is Michael Sanchez Ratliff, a 21-year-old Chicago resident. He was traveling to California in March of 2014 to spend time with family when the car he was in was stopped near Council Bluff for traveling 5 miles over the speed limit.
We got pulled over around 4 o'clock. You know, the officer, he went to the driver's side. You know, he was talking to the driver.
Yeah, come on back to the rear vehicle. I'll get you out of here. I got to write you out that warning, all right?
He was trying to be chatty, and, you know, I'm talking because I don't see no problem. And then I guess he asked the driver to search. He pulled the driver out the car, and then they start talking.
There you go, bud. Hey, just make sure you slow down. This is a warning, okay? And there's back all your information, all right? Just make sure you slow down.
But the stop quickly progressed into much more. After issuing the warnings to driver Leonardo Gonzalez, Deputy Miller began asking questions about the trip, discovering what he believed to be discrepancies in Gonzalez's and Ratliff's stories.
That's fine. Don't worry about it, Leo. Yeah, I understand. Hey, do you have any questions?
No.
No, okay. Hey, can I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have anything illegal inside the vehicle?
No.
Okay.
Nothing.
No drugs?
No.
Oh, no drugs? Okay. Can I search the vehicle?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to go up and ask him the same thing. Can I just have you sit back here for a second?
Then he's like, all right, while I'm searching, I'm going to search the car. He's like, do you have anything? I'm like, yeah, I have my backpack. I have I have a backpack and a bag of clothes. He's searching the car. When he goes through it, he finds my money in my backpack. I told him at first it was like $10,000, you know, because I didn't tell him what was in the safety box. And then he was like, all right, well, give me the keys to your thing. I'm going to open up the safety box, you know, because what was out was 10 grand. And then inside was, you know, the other 10. So when he opens it up, he's like, oh, you know, all this money right here. And then he's like, all right, well, he calls for backup, and then he's like, all right, well, you guys aren't going nowhere. I was nervous and a little scared. I was like, all right, what's going to go on here? And then the backup came, and then they put me in the back of the squad car.
I'm going to read your Miranda rights, okay? But you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you.
They start talking to each other, and then he's like, all right, well, we're taking you in. And I'm like, am I being arrested? He's like, no, you're being detained. I don't know how that kind of works out. If I'm not being arrested, then why are you taking me? He's like, well, we believe this is drug money and this and that. They just try to say it was drug money. They take me in, they take me through the back so I can go directly into the interview room. And then one of the troopers, he calls his sergeant, and then, like, you know, they all start gathering around. The detectives get there. You know, there's at least like maybe 10 cops outside the door. You know, when I leave, there are like 10 cops, like 2 on each side. They're all surrounding me. They told me that, you know, I wasn't gonna get my money back. And then the officer asked if he could see my phone. I was like, all right, here. No, I thought nothing of it. And he's like, yeah, I'm keeping this. You're not gonna get this back until you come to court. And then he started going through my phone because it was already unlocked. He starts going through my pictures and such. He starts going through everything, and I was like, you need a warrant to do that. And he's like scrolling away, doing what he's doing. After that, I asked him how was I gonna get home, you know, because I figured that if I could get, you know, at least to get enough money to get home, because they took literally everything, you know. But he said since you weren't being defiant or anything like that, then, you know, you're go ahead to take, you know, a couple $100s, so that way you can get home.
Sanchez can be heard on the video telling officers that the money was from working as a hotel valet. He also says a chunk came from his grandmother. The money, Sanchez told the Register, was intended to help him possibly relocate and attend school in California if the visit with his family went well.
I was real upset. I was so excited to see California, and then bam, you know, dreams crushed right there. With not even a whole day passed. The entire year after that was just a big struggle and hassle, because then in my apartment, I had to sleep on an air mattress that my grandmother bought for me. you know, because she was like, all right, well, what happened to all the money? And then I told her, and then she was, you know, she was pretty angry with me. When I first told her, she, you know, at first she couldn't believe it. She was like, what, you know, what'd you spend it all on, you know? And then I was like, this really happened, you know, when I see you, I'll show you the papers, you know, that the police gave me. Honestly, I thought it was just going to be one court hearing and then bam, I get it back. And then, you know, reality smacked me in the face, and it turns out it wasn't like that. I was frustrated and angry, you know. I was like, man, you know, I'm like finally, my first apartment, you know, my first time living on my own, and it's a bad experience. Ended up getting evicted.
The money was ultimately seized, and Sanchez spent much of the next 8 months and roughly $7,000 in attorney costs before Iowa District Court Judge Richard Davidson ordered the money returned.
So I'm gonna keep, you know, I'm gonna use that money I got. I'm gonna either buy a business, you know, and start my own business, or go to school and then go to stocks and, you know, learn the business.
Will you travel with it anymore?
No, no, I learned my lesson about that. Unless I'm keeping it in a plastic card that says Chase, I'm not carrying that money nowhere with me. Don't walk around with too much money or the police will take it.
Victory. State disbands cops who robbed innocent people's life savings. Victims reimbursed. One of the worst states engaging in civil asset forfeiture, better known as policing for profit, suffered a blow in its campaign to rob innocent people of their cash and assets. After withering criticism and a lawsuit it couldn't win, Iowa's drug interdiction team was disbanded on December 6. The so-called interdiction unit's key focus was to stop vehicles traveling along Interstate Highway 80 suspected of being involved in drugs or other crimes. It was a part of the Iowa Department of Public Safety and had become a target in recent years from critics who allege the team used unconstitutional practices to seize private property for law enforcement profits. This special group of state troopers used every trick in the book to engage in warrantless searches of people's vehicles, after pulling them over for minor offenses like failure to use a turn signal. Using flimsy excuses such as a dirty car, the odor of air freshener, or fidgeting, the cops would ransack vehicles in hopes of finding any amount of suspected drugs or paraphernalia. The cops would then make up suspicions about criminal activity and use Iowa's broad civil asset forfeiture laws to seize cash, assets and vehicles of the occupants, with no charge or proof of a crime. Even if no charges are filed or the person is found innocent, he or she must prove to a court they obtained their cash or property legally, incurring attorney and court fees. Using these devious methods, Iowa law enforcement has raked in more than $55 million in cash since 1985 and 4,200 vehicles since 1991. It's entirely unknown how much the cops took in other valuables such as guns, jewelry, furniture and artwork, as no records are kept for those items. The Des Moines Register began exposing Iowa's egregious use of civil asset forfeiture after a 2013 incident. Two California gamblers were traveling through Iowa with $100,000 in cash, and were pulled over for allegedly not using a turn signal. Having a California license plate, this was a golden opportunity for the interdiction team. The cops used alleged fidgeting and nervousness to justify their search, which found a small bit of cannabis. It didn't matter then both the men had California medical cannabis cards. After arguing the search was illegal, $90,000 was returned to the men, who filed a federal civil lawsuit in 2014 for damages, stating the troopers had no probable cause to detain the men for a search of their vehicle and that officers had been taught improper techniques for justifying the search. Iowa settled the case by awarding the men an additional $60,000. On the same day it disbanded the drug interdiction team. The true importance of this lawsuit was that it forced the state of Iowa to re-examine its decades-long practice of pushing the constitutional boundaries of the state's civil asset forfeiture law and to disband the Iowa drug interdiction team, said Glenn Downey, attorney for the gamblers. 4 days after the announcement that the interdiction team was disbanded, Iowa's policing for profit was struck another blow. The state's Supreme Court ruled that cops wrongly detained a driver in a case that will restrict the ability of state patrol troopers and deputies to do the type of warrantless vehicle searches using controversial civil forfeiture laws. Friday's ruling came in the case of Robert Party, who's fighting to get back $33,100 that a trooper seized after stopping a vehicle he was riding in and finding a small amount of marijuana during a search. The trooper called for a drug dog and searched the vehicle, partly because he believed the car had a lived-in look that could indicate cross-country drug trafficking. But Justice Edward Mansfield, in his opinion for the majority, dismissed that evidence as unremarkable and clearly not evidence of criminal activity. There were water bottles, an energy drink, a metal coffee cup, chips and dip, apples and bananas, a trash bag with some trash, a sleeping bag draped on the rear seat and a guitar case, Mansfield wrote. Many vehicles are more lived in than that. Image, http://pixel.watch/QUT7 Party, a California resident, was acquitted of the drug charge, but even after the court ruling in his favor, he still has to convince the Poweshiek County District Court to give him his money back. The insidious nature of civil asset forfeiture is being exposed across the country. In the last 2 years, 18 states have reformed their forfeiture laws, in some cases requiring a criminal conviction to seize assets. With these 2 cases being highlighted and the disbanding of Iowa's interdiction unit, that state may be joining the list soon. Read more at http://state-disbands-forfeiture-team-of-f-cops-robbing-motors-innocent-victims/#Buble0ixmtfrd2zb.99